Buenos dias! How's everyone doing today? Today I'm so excited to talk to you about stories. If you want your students to be able to speak confidently in the target language, you need to provide oral, comprehensible input, and stories are the best way to do that in the modern classroom. So if you're looking to get your students talking, you're in the right place. Stick around until the end where I'll tell you my pro tip. My name is Scott, and you're watching Immediate Immersion, where we're all about comprehension-based instruction in the modern language classroom. We'll be right back. When we do stories with our classes, we co-create our story with our class. We do this because it's more engaging and students will be more invested because it's their story. In the beginning, most of us scripted our stories with a few variables that students could change to make it appear as if it were their own. When we got more comfortable, we would move more to an outline and then finally to just going with the flow of the class. For my top 5 ways to start a story, watch the video that's on your screen right now. The first step to co-creating a story with your students is to know your targets. I highly suggest starting with Terry Waltz's Super 7. These are 7 ideas that can be translated into 6 or 7 verbs in the target language. These verbs are there is, wants, goes, likes, and has. These are high-frequency verbs that students can use to express a ton of ideas on a wide variety of topics. I would ask dozens of stories using just these verbs as the main targets over many weeks until students are comfortable and have confidence using them. Once you have your targets figured out, you'll want to begin by creating a character with your students. I typically take one entire class period to just create the character. I start by asking kids if they want a person, animal, or thing as their character. Of course, I'm asking all of these questions in the target language. Then, I start asking questions to establish our character. Things like the description, name, age, and where it lives as the basics. And if we have time, I'll add things like family, friends, likes and dislikes, and anything else we can come up with to make the character come alive. As we establish facts about our character, we want to be asking review questions with our students to review the content, but also to repeat the language patterns so they get in the students' heads. We also want to check in with our students to make sure they're understanding the language. We do this by asking in English, or whatever the common language is, things like, what does X mean? What did I just say? What did I just ask? I'll switch up asking these questions to the whole class and to individual students. I want to ask these types of questions frequently, so I'm sure I haven't left any students behind. On the second day, I'll start class by reviewing what we already know about our character. I then say in the target language, oh no, the character has a problem. I train my students that whenever they hear this phrase, they have to react. Some years I have them say, oh no, oh me, oh my. And other times I have them say, dun dun dun. I like to change it up so I don't get bored. Then I ask them questions to figure out what the problem is. I take lots of suggestions and even solicit some suggestions from individual quiet students so they feel heard. We then vote on the best answer and go from there. I know some teachers don't like to vote. Yes, I'm talking to you, La Maestra Loca. So you can use a spin the wheel website and put the choices in there and spin the wheel. Once you've established your problem, your character needs to fail at trying to solve it. Ask your students where the character goes or what it does to try to solve the problem. But remember, it must fail or your story's over. Continue asking leading questions to develop this part of the story. Don't forget to ask review questions to both the class and individual students, as well as comprehension check questions to make sure everyone understands. Now it's time to wrap up your story. Ask leading questions to determine where the character goes or what it does to try to solve the problem. Continue asking leading questions to develop this final part of the story. Remember your review and comprehension check questions. Questions are very important to the story asking process. Students need to hear sentences over and over again in natural ways to be able to acquire the language patterns. Asking frequent questions allows this to happen in a natural way. You want to ask as many yes, no, either or question word questions about each part of the sentence. That means asking questions about the subject, the verb, and the object. In addition to review questions, you'll also want to ask comprehension questions in English or whatever the common language is. I try to focus on students who are slower processors with these questions because if they understand, the odds are the rest of the class understands too. And as always, questions should be asked to the class as a whole and to the individual students as appropriate. We'll talk in another video about all the different activities you can do after your story. But to get you started, this is my favorite one. I learned the pencil game from Carmen Sanchez in Las Vegas. It's a simple, no-prep review game. Students form pairs and have one pencil or other object that they can grab. You will ask true and false questions in the target language, and if the question is false, students are supposed to grab the pencil or object, and whoever has it earns a point. If someone grabs the pencil or object when the question is true, they'll lose a point. If no one grabs the object, then no points are gained or lost. The winner is the student with the most points in each pair. Now here's that pro tip I told you about at the beginning of the video. Class mascot. Students love to create a class mascot that stars in a lot of different stories. You create this mascot just like you do with any other character, but you work to develop this character even more and make it a beloved member of your classroom. Have a student draw it, and you can show all your class mascots on a wall in your room. Then, whenever you have a story, you already have your star character. What's great about this is students really grow to love their class mascots and enjoy creating stories about them. If you really want to up your CI game and learn all the aspects of teaching and assessing in a modern, comprehension-based language classroom, you'll want to check out our Webversity course. We offer 3 levels of our course, from just the basics all the way up to the pro version, which includes over 30 detailed lessons. All classes are pre-recorded and you can watch them as many times as you'd like. To learn more, go to mm.us/webversity. Now, if you found these tips helpful, hitting the like button would be massive. And consider subscribing if you want more videos on teaching in the modern language classroom. Want to watch more? Check out one of these videos. Happy comprehensible input!